Hello everyone, a very good evening to all of you. My name is Suprabha and I am your ABM English Medium mentor. So recently we have launched the CIB batch, that is real batch for 2024 June and July CIB preparation. ठीक है, recently on 8th of May we have launched this batch. So if you are preparing for CIB 2024 July, then you can join this batch, that is real batch, right? So all the four compulsory subject, that is BRBL, BFM, ABM and ABFM, we have already started, right? So but my part that is going to be start, right? And we have total A, B, C, D module. So I have taken question from B module. Okay. The first question is, that is individuals belief about who is responsible for what happens in life, called power base, motivation pattern, locus of control and internal belief. What is the right answer? Tell me. Right? See, when we are talking about the individual's belief about who is responsible for what happens in life is called, basically there are two things. One is internal locus control, okay, and the other one is external locus of control, okay. So when we are think that whatever happening in our life, that is because of us, we are responsible for that, okay, we called it as the internal locus of control, okay. So there are two types, internal and external. Sometimes we think that maybe whatever happening in our life, that is because of our luck, that is because of our destiny, fate, okay. So we called it as the external locus of control. Now how this is relatable to your organization, okay, we are right, we are covering here the locus of control. Of course the right answer here is locus of control, but how this concept is relatable with your organization, okay. See, every organization, they want employee who are having the internal locus of control, not the external one, okay. Because if you are having the internal locus of control, then definitely you think that whatever happening in your life, that is because of you, okay, not because of luck, because of destiny, no, never, okay. So of course the right answer here is, that is right. So we called it as the locus of control, and of course the locus of control, that is always relatable with your organization. Next question is, that is, which of the following are correct statement for different power bases? This is a very important question, and this time in December exam, IIBF has asked this question for 5 marks. So what is the right answer here? Tell me. Okay. See, when we are talking about the coercive power is what? Expert power, emotional power, and reflected power. First of all, read all the sentences and give your answer, the right answer. Okay. Number one is coercive power. That is leader threaten ठीक है. लीडर थ्रेटन, punish delinquent employee. Second is expert power, power gained by virtue of knowledge. Third is emotional power, emotional attraction of a person based on the extraordinary characteristic. And reflected power, that is gaining of power by virtue of proximity to a power source, right? See, what is the meaning of the coercive power? Coercive power means you gain this power because you punish the employee. ठीक है, you punish the delinquent employee, you threaten the employee. ठीक है. Then what is the expert power? This power you gain because you have the expertise, you have the knowledge. ठीक है, information, knowledge, expertise, right? Emotional power is what? Emotional power is when you are ready to work beyond your duty and time. ठीक है, when you are ready to work beyond your duty and time. So that is the right, that is the emotional power. ठीक है. So what is the emotional power? The emotional, so this is a wrong sentence. ठीक है, the right sentence is 1, 2 and 4. ठीक है, so 1, 2 and 4, B is the right answer. What is the reflected power? Reflected power is you gain this power because of you have the close proximity with the powerful person. Suppose you are the secretariat of the CMD of the bank, then automatically you are enjoying this power, reflected power. Okay, because you are in the close proximity of the powerful person. So that is, we called it as a reflected power. Okay, so of course the third answer, emotional power. Emotional power is what? When you got attached to someone, ठीक है, even you are ready to work beyond your duty, beyond your time. ठीक है, so we called it as a emotional power, that is. ठीक है, so right answer is 1, 2 and 4. ठीक है, now the next question is, that is, what is the following represent the correct sequence in stages of group formation? Tell me what is the right answer. First read the question and tell me what is the right answer. ठीक है, see, this is the stages of group formation. In your ABM book, the stages as given is FS and CP, but in your HR elective it is given as FS and PA. Both are correct. ठीक है, both are the correct one. FS and CP and FS and PA, both are equally correct. Now tell me what is the right answer. ठीक है, so what is the right answer here? That is FS and PA. PA and CP both are correct. ठीक है, what is the meaning of the forming? Forming means when the group will be just introduction part, right? Storming is what? That is S for storming. Storming means when you are having the conflict with each other. Norming is when you are respecting each other. ठीक है, right? You are started respect to each other. Then confirming, right? You are started coordination, and then last is performing. So FS and CP, that means third, fifth. So 1 is the right answer. FS and CP, that is. Okay, this is the correct sequence. This is a very important question. Which one is not the component of EI? Okay, what is the meaning of the EI? Tell me what is the right answer. right? So what is the right answer here? See, EI means when you are able to understand your emotion and the other's emotion as well. So we have total 5 component here. Okay? The number 1 is self awareness. Second is self motivation. Third is self regulation. Fourth is empathy. And last is social skills. Right? So what is the meaning of the self-awareness? Self-awareness means that means you're able to understand your emotion very well. Okay? Then what is the self-motivation? Self-motivation means you are actually motivate yourself. Self-regulation means how well you control your emotion. Then empathy means how you change the other mood as well. Okay? And social skills is that how well you are able to make the relationship with other. Okay? Social relationship. So of course, the A, B, C is the part, but self-efficacy is a different concept. This is not related to EI. Okay? Next is which of the following is or are component of attitude, behavior, feeling, critical, and knowledge. Tell me, what is the right answer? Right? So, what is the right answer here? See, in what is the meaning of the attitude? Attitude means basically that is your opinion. Okay? That is your opinion. That is your feeling about something. Okay? Maybe it can be wrong or it can be right as well. Okay? So we have the 3 component of attitude, that is A, B and C. Number 1 is affective component. Number 2 is cognitive component. 3 is behavioral component. Okay. So these are the 3 component of attitude. So number 1 is behavior. Number 2 is feeling element. Number 3 is critical and knowledge. Knowledge is of course not the part of that. Affective component related to your emotion, related to your feeling. Okay. Cognitive component is based on some information. Okay. तथ्य, fact. Behavior component is that is your tendency to behave, habit. Okay. So of course knowledge is not related to that. 1, 2 and 3 is the right answer. D is the right answer. Next is Rima is working as an officer in bank. She got divorced and she is a single mother now. She does not want to disclose this in her job, but she is very good in her job. She thinks like that. She is cheerful, ingenious and cheerful, self-assertive, dependable. Her manager choose these adjectives to her like extrovert, trustworthy. So the information she is divorced is fall under which area? That is arena, blind, closed and dark. Okay? Which area? Tell me. A. This question is from the Zuhari window. Okay? So what is the right answer? Right? So what is the right answer here? See, the right answer here is what is the arena? This is the information which is open to everyone. That means the information which falling under this one arena, that means the information is open to everyone. Even we are knowing that information and other also. B is the blind area, the information which we don't know but other know about us. C is the hidden area. ठीक है? Hidden means basically the area where, okay, we want to hide something, right? And D is the dark area where even we don't know anything and other also don't know. So the right answer is that is closed and hidden. C is the right answer. Next is Jui is having a conversation with her best friend. She is revealing how she sees herself and include her attribute, characteristic and qualities. So Jui is revealing information about her. We called it as a self concept definition. Tell me what is the right answer? What can be the right answer? Tell me. Okay. See, here we are talking about that Juhi is telling about herself, how she is. That means she is talking about her personality. Okay. She is talking about her personality, who she is. Okay. Who is she exactly? So she is talking about her attribute, characteristics. We called it as a self concept. When we are talking about ourself, that means we are talking about our characteristic. We called it as a self concept. Next is the Zuari window model, information about yourself and other know in a group, but you are unaware. Again, the Zuari window comes, that is A, B, C, and D. So that means the information which other know, but you are unaware. That means the blind.
Welcome to Adda 24/7. We are in the Scholar series for ABM. Here we are covering the important theory, numericals, and objective questions. So watch the series till the end and use the complete series. Okay, view the complete series. Watch all the lectures. Okay, let's start. The topic which we are taking today, the topic which we are covering over here, I'll tell you this can be asked in ABM or BFM or ABFM, any of the three. It can be asked in any of the three. Okay, so that's why watch it from that angle. Got it? Because this topic is common for ABM also, BFM also, and some part of ABFM also. We'll be covering these objective questions. So let's start one by one. Which of the following statement is not correct regarding the capital of a bank? So not correct regarding capital of a bank. Okay. What is firstly capital of a bank? That this is there in your ABM also and BFM also. Capital is divided into tiers according to the characteristic of each qualifying instrument. Right? Tiers. There are two types of capital generally, right? Tier 1 and Tier 2. Tier 1 is a free capital. Tier 2 is a paid capital. Tier 1 is a going concern. Tier 2 is a gone concern. Right? So capital is divided into tiers. Right? For supervisory purposes, the capital fund has two categories. Right? Two categories of funds. Just now I told you Tier 1 and Tier 2. A few things I'll clarify regarding this capital now only. Okay, when of course this will be useful to you. Tier 1 includes what? Mainly Tier 1 includes T1. Okay, T1 includes what? Mainly it includes this share capital. Share capital. Then second it includes net profit. Net profit. Okay. Thirdly, it includes reserves and surplus. Reserves and surplus. Okay, both the words are used nowadays. Surplus. And last one, it includes revaluation reserves. Revaluation reserves. Okay, it includes these four elements. T1 capital. T2 capital is a paid capital. T2 capital means anything which you get under this using the loan as such. Okay, there are certain conditions to it, that general reserves or general loans are to be taken at 1.25%. So that is separate aspect. We'll cover it sometime else. Now, coming back to this, the supervisory purposes capital has two categories. Okay, T1 and T2. The highest quality of capital with the bank is in the form of Tier 1 funds. Now look at this. The question is not correct. which one is not correct. Okay, the highest quality of capital with the bank is in form of tier 2 capital. Now only the real problem is this: highest quality C and D. See here, obviously I'll tell you A and B are correct, divided into tiers according to their each qualifying instrument. So that is true. So this is true. Two categories, this is also true. Now somebody amongst you might say that there are three categories. There is also something called as T3 capital, tier 3. But tier 3 capital is an emergency capital. It is not a regular capital. Emergency, it is taken into account only when you are in the emergency. Okay, not on a regular basis. Got it? Move on. So now, so what is the correct answer now? This is true, this is true. Now only the problem is over here. This is true or this is true. And you want the false one, not correct one. Okay. So now tell me, what is the correct answer over here? Highest capital, quality of capital is what? Tier 1 or tier 2? Okay, I'll ask you a simple question. Suppose if I ask you, which is the best money which you can have? Do you have the money which is your own, or the money which you have brought it through the bank by loans? Obviously your own, isn't it? So that's why T1 capital will be the best capital. So this is true, but we want a false one. So this is false, and this is your answer. Not correct. Okay, got it? Clear? Next one. The revaluation reserves are to be taken at dash % discount while determining the inclusion in tier 2. Just now I gave you this revaluation reserves are a part of tier 1. Now this tier 2, it was there earlier. Now it is tier 1. Okay. Earlier it was there in tier 2, but RBI has clarified this, that it should be included in tier 1. So what is the discount percentage to be taken? 15% of the paid up capital shown in the balance sheet. 40% of the face value shown in the balance sheet. 55% of the value shown in the balance sheet. 60% of the value shown in the balance sheet. Now, those who have studied this, they'll understand, or they'll be able to answer this. What is the answer? Revaluation reserves are to be taken at dash % discount. Now understand this wording. Dash % discount means what? That is main point. Many of us get confused in this word discount. Here. Okay, firstly you give me the answer. Okay, let me explain you this. Discount means what? Because some of you are still having this problem. Suppose let's say it is X% discount. X% discount. Okay, so what does it mean? X% discount means over here 100. Suppose if I have to give you the money and you say that it's X% discount, so how much money will I give you? 100 minus X, right? This much percent I'll have to use it. Okay, this much percent I'll have to give or use it. So this much is useful for me. Similarly over here now, the discount percentage is C, 55%. Revaluation reserves are always taken at 55% discount value. Now what does it mean? But it means that suppose if I am having the revaluation reserves of let's say 50,000 crores, if my bank is having the revaluation reserves of 50,000 CR, so actually how much can I take it? I can take this out of this 50,000 CR, 50,000 CR into 45% only. Understand this 45%. Why 45%? This 45% has come because of 100 minus 55. So it is discount. So what is useful? Useful is 45%. This is what you have to understand this. Many of us take this 55 as a useful part. No, 55 is a discount part. You should take it at 45%. Okay. General provisions and loss reserves are shown as a part of tier 2 capital are subject to max of. This is what I was talking of. When the question number 1 came, I told you T2 capital, general reserves and loss provisions. We'll cover it when the topic comes. So now the topic has come. General provisions or loss reserves are taken as a part of tier 2 capital subject to a maximum of 9% of the risk weight, 6% of the T2 capital, 4% of the capital funds and 1.25% of the RWA. What is the answer over here? How many of you have studied this? Those who have studied this will be able to answer it very fast. Now let me explain you first. Okay? Okay, let us get the answer first, then I'll explain you. What is the answer, everyone? It is 1.25% of RWA. This is the answer, 1.25% of RWA. What does it mean? Now look at this. In exam problem, they'll be giving you RWA equals to RWA, total RWA means for credit plus market plus ops. Either they'll give you or you'll have to find it out. Okay. So total RWA of yours will be, let's say, 1 lakh crores, 1 lakh CR. Let's say this is your total RWA. Okay. And they'll also give you in this exam that general provisions and loss reserve. I'll just write now GPLR. Okay, this means this, GPLR, general provisions and loss reserves. So they'll give you GPLR equals to, okay, let's say 2000 crores, 2000 CR. Okay, they'll give you this. GPLR is 2000 CR. Now your problem will be what is to be taken in the numerical. What should I use? Which figure should I use in the numerical? So rule is like this. Okay, the rule is total RWA 1 lakh crore into, see this, RWA into 1.25%. Now look at this, whatever I am doing. So 1 lakh into 1.25%. So what is this? 1 lakh into 1.25% is 1250 CR, right? 1250 CR. This will be your answer. Now what do you take? Because this is after all GPLR. GPLR as per your calculations is this. Now which figure should you take? Here it is given only subject to a maximum of this, but it's not that. The answer is this or this, minimum. Okay, so what does it mean? Here I'll be taking 1250 as my figure. Okay, I'll be taking 1250 as my figure in the numerical. This is my answer. But now I'll give you case number 2. In exam they give you everything same, but only they give you GPLR equals to 1000 CR. If they give you this figure, then which one will you take? So as per your calculations it is 1250 and here it is 1000. So you'll be taking minimum. So minimum of these. So here you'll be taking 1000 CR. Remember this by heart for your exam. Very important calculation. Many of us forget this. This part, question number 3 and question number 2. We forget this and then it's all problem. Okay. Which of the following instrument is not included in upper tier 2 capital? Not included in upper tier 2 capital. Which of them is not included in? Now you read the options. It's already given over there, isn't it? Read the options. Upper tier 2, perpetual cumulative preference shares, redeemable non-cumulative preference shares, redeemable cumulative preference shares, perpetual non-cumulative preference shares. I bet all of you might have got confused over here. What is all this? Firstly, remember in your JIB, remember your JIB now. In JIB, what had you done? Preference shares, preference, right? Preference share. What were the 3 qualities of preference shares? Anyone remembers? 3 qualities of preference shares. It was, one was redeemable, right? Redeemable. Second one was cumulative. Okay. Cumulative. Redeemable, cumulative, and third one was what? Participating, right? Participating. What are these three qualities? Here, participating is of not much use over here, but these two are useful. Redeemable means the customer can come to you anytime and tell you, take this your share and give me my money back. That is redeemable. Cumulative means what? Suppose in some year you don't give the dividend. Understand this. This is related to dividend. If you don't give the dividend, then next year you will have to give the dividend for last year also and next year also, along with the arrears. That is cumulative. Okay? And participating means what? Whenever some funds remain at the end after distributing to everyone, whatever funds remain, those funds means these preference shareholders with participating rights will have the right over that money, whatever is remaining. So these were the three qualities of your preference shares in your JIB. Now the point over here is, what are the options given? Look at this, perpetual. Perpetual means what? Here, I'll give you the opposites of this. Okay. Redeemable, perpetual, opposite is perpetual. X means what? Opposite. Perpetual. These are in cross. Okay. Perpetual means it goes on and on. Redeemable means it can be withdrawn anytime. Cumulative. What is X or this opposite of this? It is non-cumulative. What do you mean by non-cumulative? Cumulative. Non-cumulative. What do you mean by non-cumulative? It means if I don't give you a dividend 1 year, next year I am not liable to give you the dividend that last year's. I may give, I may not give. So that is, after all, no liability over here. Participating is of no use over here. So forget this. Only two will focus. Now look at this. Perpetual, cumulative. Cumulative means what? You are wanting it in tier 2 capital. Tier 2 means what? It's a paid capital. Paid. Going concern. Right? So cumulative will be included over here. Cumulative. Where you have to repay the dividends whenever it is whenever you have not paid. So you want not included. So this is true. Redeemable, non-cumulative. Redeemable means that customer can come to you anytime and ask you for the money. So that is also true, because this is also this tier 2 capital only. Redeemable, cumulative. Again redeemable means again this true. Redeemable, anything, cumulative or non-cumulative, it's true. Why? Because redeemable means what the word means. Customer can come to you anytime and tell you that, see, give me this, take this your bond and give me back my money. That's it. PNCP, perpetual non-cumulative preference share. This is something not included. This is false, because this is a part of your tier 1 capital. Tier 1 means what here? Tier 1 has two parts. Okay, CET1, CET1, right? And second is AT1, AT1. Okay, just now I gave you over here this tier 1 capital. So these all are the part of CET1, CET1. The additional part for tier 1 is CET1 plus AT1. So this I'll show you now over here. So this is AT1. AT1 includes two parts. One is PNCP, perpetual non-cumulative preference shares, and IPDI. What is IPDI? Innovative perpetual debt instruments. Innovative perpetual debt instrument. Do you want me to write it? Innovative perpetual debt instruments. Okay. So that is IPDI. Okay. So these are the part of tier 1 capital. Got it? Move on. What is the maximum extent of subordinate debt that can be included in tier 2 capital? Subordinate debt. Subordinate. 100% of tier 2, 100% of tier 1, 100% of capital funds, 50% of tier 1. Maximum subordinate debt. Yeah. Firstly, what is subordinate debt? Subordinate debt means here it's very simple. Subordinate. What do you mean by this word subordinate? Subordinate means near one. Suppose you have a subordinate in your bank. It means what? The colleague acting near you, working near you. So that is a subordinate. Somebody who is a team member. Similarly, for company X company, okay, subordinate is what? The company X means the subordinate is some sister concern of this company, sister concern, okay. So that is a subordinate. Sister concern of the company is a subordinate. So suppose if I take loan from this company, loan. If I take a loan from this company, so then it will be called as subordinate debt. So what is the percentage of subordinate debt I can take? 100% of tier 2, 100% of tier 1, 100% of capital funds and 50% of tier 1. See here we are talking of tier 2 capital. Subordinate debt that can be taken in tier 2 capital. So it is maximum amount. Maximum amount is 50% of tier 1. Whatever means what? Understand this logic, okay? If my total tier 1 capital of the bank is, let's say, rupees 1000 CR, okay, and my subordinate debt in T2, see here, T2 will include various elements, okay, subordinate debt, general reserves, all these reserves, okay. Just now we saw that reserves was 1.25%. So one of them will be the subordinate debt. Subordinate debt. So suppose if my subordinate debt over here is taken as, let's say, again 2000 CR. I am having a subordinate debt of 2000 CR. So can I take this 2000 CR in the calculations? I can't take. I can't take. What can I take max then? 50% of this. So I can take maximum of this is 500 CR. Remaining things I can't take in calculations. That's what is the meaning. Okay, got it? Which of the following is to be deducted from tier 1 capital funds? Tier 1 deducted. Okay, intangible assets, loss in the current period, brought forward losses from previous period, and all of the above. Think. Deducted from tier 1 capital. So whatever is my tier 1 capital, I subtracted these elements from there. So what are those? The answer is, what is the answer? Yes? Anyone, everyone? Intangible assets, are they to be deducted? Yes, they are to be deducted. So this is true, right? Losses in the current period, are they to be deducted? Obviously they are to be deducted. Because if you have losses and when you deduct it, only then you will be having the net profit, isn't it? What is net profit? Net profit means total gross profit minus whatever expenses or losses you have, right? So that is to be deducted. Brought forward losses from the previous year's losses period, I have not accumulated, I have not taken into account. Now I'll have to take into account at any case, and then find out my net profit. So this is also, so the answer is this, D, all of the above, right? This is the right answer. Which of the following statement is correct regarding adjustment of securitization exposure? Securitization. What is securitization? It's a big topic. I'll just sum part of this. Let's say SBI is having 1000 CR of home loans. Okay. Now its money is locked in this home loans. Means it has given the home loan. So money is locked. So how will it free this money? What does the SBI do? SBI will sell it to one SPV. SPV can be anything. See here, it can be SBI Capital. It's a separate company, but that's an SPV. So SBI will sell it to SPV, and SPV will give, see this, how much SBI has given to this SPV, this full loan, 1000 CR completely it has given over here. This 1000 CR is over here. Now SPV has received 1000 CR, but it is selling. So SPV must give some money for the price. What is selling? Selling means whenever I buy vegetables from the market, I give money to that guy, right? Similarly, when SPV is buying this 1000 crores, it must give some money. So what money does it give? It gives around, I'll tell you, 800 crores. So for this 1000 CR, they are giving 800 CR. So what is this 200 gap? This is known as the residual risk. Residual risk to the bank, okay, to SBI, and that is covered under these home loans. Okay. Now what will this SPV do? It has got this 1000 CR loans. It will break this into various smaller components of, let's say, 1 crore components or 1000 components. Okay, it will break this complete 1000 crore home loans into 1000 parts. Each part will be of what? 1 crore. So it will find out 1000 customers who are able to invest 1 CR, and it will convert these into bonds, or we call it debentures or notes, anything. Okay, so it will convert it into bonds and sell it to these guys. Now how will the business work over here? See this. SBI will get around on home loans, let's say 9.5% or 10%, take it round 10%. SBI will keep around 1% to themselves and give it to SPV, promise the SPV that I'll be giving you around, let's say 8%. Forget, let's give SBI 2%. So SBI will get 2% over here, SPV will get 8%. Now SPV will do what? It will promise this 1 crore guys that okay, I'll give you around 7% on this. 7%. Now what is happening over here? SBI is earning 2%, SPV is earning 1%, and these guys are earning 7%, which might be better than the FD rates. So this is known as securitization. So which of the following statement is correct? Now you want a positive answer. Is correct regarding the securitization exposure. So securitization exposures are to be deducted from the regulatory capital. Deduction of securitization exposure from tier 1 must be 50%. Deduction of securitization exposure from tier 2 capital must be 50%, and all of the above. So what is the answer for this? Anyone knows this? Okay, I'll give you the answer. Oh, let me wait. Let me check how many of you are answering. Somebody might be knowing it. So it is all of the above. Okay, it is all of the above. It must be deducted from whichever capital you take. Tier 1 also 50% if you take it in tier 1, tier 2 also 50% if you take it in tier 2, and are to be deducted from the regulatory capital. Last one for today. Tier 2 capital funds are limited to maximum 25% of tier 1 capital, maximum 33% of tier 1, maximum 50% of tier 1, and maximum 100% of tier 1. Now this, everyone amongst you should be able to answer this, because this is a basic question in your BFM, ABM, ABFM, everywhere related to capital. So you should be able to answer this basic question. The answer is yes. Answer is D, 100%. T2 cannot be greater than tier 1. Okay, T2 cannot be greater than T1. Okay, always remember, it can be maximum up to 100% of T1. Okay, the answer is T2 cannot be greater than tier 1. Okay, that is the basic answer. Now the point over here is, I'll just add few points to this because some things are important. Tier 2 cannot be greater than tier 1, number 1. Number 2, when you have tier 3 capital, tier 3, it should never be greater than 250% of tier 1. This is the second point which you have to note always. Cannot be greater than 250% of the tier 1. And T3 capital, T3 is a special capital taken at the time of emergency due to market risk. Remember, it is only taken when you have an emergency for market risk, not for operations or any other credit risk. Okay, so these two things you must always remember. T2 cannot be greater than T1. Okay, and T3 cannot be greater than 250% of T1. Okay, so before going, everyone kindly join the Zeal batch. Just now started. All the numericals, objective questions, case studies, everything is covered. Okay, all the compulsory subjects are covered. You can join the Mahapack also. In Mahapack 2.0, you are getting 15 plus batches per subject. The best thing about this Zeal batch is this batch will get over at the time of your exam. So you'll have a fresh knowledge. Your knowledge will be fresh whenever you appear for the exam. And this Mahapack also, as I told you, it is 15 plus batches plus basically you're getting the elective recorded sessions also over here. How to join this? Let me show you. Right now you are getting the double validity offer on Mahapacks. Means, see this. Click on JIB and CIB. Click on CIB June 24. Here you will see the Zeal batch. See this Zeal batch. Ebooks, test series, online live classes, doubt solving, counseling, live and recorded sessions, experienced faculties, everything. Ebooks, they are to the level of chapter. Chapter wise. Look at this. Chapter wise. Even tests are to the level of chapter wise, okay, subject and then chapter wise. So don't miss this opportunity. And at what cost are you getting everything? Look at the cost. Click on buy now. Put the code Y432. Click on apply. 79% off plus 1% extra on the app. Okay. Also you can join the Mahapack. As I told you, in Mahapack you are getting multiple batches. See this. Multiple batches plus right now you are getting double validity. So you buy for 6 months, you get it for 12 months. You buy for 12, you get it for 24. Again 80% off is there. Don't forget the code Y432.